Welcome to our channel, your ultimate destination for the most shocking revelations, intense spoilers, and unfiltered breakdowns of Beyond the Gates. Here we uncover the secrets hidden behind the elegant walls of Fairmont Crest and expose the devastating betrayals that tear families apart. Today, we dive into one of the most explosive arcs the series has given us, a story of heartbreak, revenge, and the merciless downfall of two who dared to betray the wrong woman. Naomi had always believed Jacob to be her anchor, the steady presence that shielded her from the storm of the Dupree family's endless battles. To her, he was calm, loyal, and deeply rooted in the values of honesty. Kat, meanwhile, had once been the closest thing Naomi had to a sister. Their bond was forged in trust, shared secrets, and years of unwavering support. Naomi never imagined that these two pillars of her life would betray her in the most intimate and humiliating way possible. But in Fairmont Crest, appearances were fragile masks, and the ugliest truths always clawed their way to the surface. The discovery came slowly at first, through whispers of suspicion that Naomi tried to ignore. Late nights where Jacob was absent, excuses wrapped in polished charm, messages that felt too rehearsed. But the real fracture happened when Naomi stumbled upon a hidden chain of evidence. Photographs blurred but unmistakable, fragments of videos where shadows revealed more than words ever could, and above all, a string of encrypted messages that made her blood run cold. The name attached to them shattered her to the core, Kat. Betrayal had a face, and it was the face of the friend she trusted most. The pain nearly broke her. Nights of silence turned into nights of fire as Naomi weighed her choices. She could confront them, but that would give them power. She could walk away, but that would mean surrendering her dignity. And Naomi was not built to surrender. Instead, she channeled her pain into a weapon sharper than any blade: patience. She would not scream. She would not beg. She would make them bleed, not with violence, but with their own deeds, exposed in a way so absolute that they could never recover. Her plan began with Kat. Naomi knew the younger woman's ambitions, her hunger to rise above, to carve a place of influence within Fairmont Crest's glittering hierarchy. Kat craved power, attention, and validation, and Naomi gave it to her. With a steady smile, Naomi reached out, masking her fury beneath a veil of false reconciliation. She painted herself as broken but willing to forgive, a woman betrayed but too proud to let Jacob destroy her alone. She whispered to Kat about revenge, about unity, about turning the tables. Kat, blinded by her own arrogance, believed every word. Together, they met in secrecy, their conversations laced with venom against Jacob. But what Kat did not realize was that every word she uttered, every malicious scheme she spun, was being meticulously recorded. Naomi planted devices with surgical precision, ensuring that Kat's voice became the soundtrack to her own undoing. The tapes grew in length, a damning library of conspiracy where Kat eagerly detailed strategies, delights, and fantasies of crushing Jacob's reputation. All the while, Naomi smiled, feeding the fire, leading Kat further into the trap with every passing meeting. The stage for destruction was chosen with care. Jacob, ambitious and proud, had been preparing for one of the most significant events of his career, a gathering meant to secure his position not only within the family's empire but in the larger world of politics and business. It was to be his night of triumph, a night where he would showcase his influence and prove himself untouchable. Invitations had been sent, guests of high stature confirmed, and the spotlight was ready to shine on him. But Naomi was determined that the light would expose his darkest shadows. On the evening of the event, the hall shimmered with extravagance. Chandeliers glowed above the glittering crowd, glasses clinked with promises of success, and Jacob moved through the gathering with a confidence that bordered on arrogance. Kat was there as well, elegantly dressed, carrying herself as if nothing could touch her. Naomi, in a gown that radiated poise and quiet power, watched from the sidelines, her heart pounding not with grief but with anticipation. Every step, every detail, had led to this. When the moment was right, Naomi struck. The lights dimmed as Jacob prepared to address the crowd, his voice commanding silence as he launched into words of triumph. But before he could finish, the sound of another voice filled the room. Kat's voice. The recordings poured through the speakers, a cascade of venom and betrayal. Her words painted Jacob as a liar, an adulterer, a man unworthy of trust. She spoke of their secret meetings, their shared lust, and their plans to manipulate the very people standing in that room. Gasps echoed through the hall as faces turned, eyes widened, and the masks of polite society shattered. Jacob froze, his composure crumbling as the truth spilled out in undeniable waves. Kat, pale and trembling, tried to deny it, but the evidence was too sharp, too detailed, too damning. Each clip struck like a dagger, each revelation dismantling the carefully constructed image both of them had maintained. Naomi stood motionless, her expression unreadable, but inside, she burned with a satisfaction that eclipsed her pain. She had not only exposed the betrayal but had orchestrated their public downfall in a way neither could have imagined. The aftermath was chaos. Jacob's career disintegrated in a single night, his allies withdrawing their support, his name now poisoned by scandal. Kat's reputation collapsed, her ambitions crushed under the weight of her own voice betraying her. Both of them were left standing in ruins, abandoned by the world they once sought to control. And Naomi, though scarred by the betrayal, rose above the ashes. She had reclaimed her dignity, her power, and the narrative of her life. They had underestimated her resolve, and for that, they paid the ultimate price. The ripple effects extended beyond that night. Families whispered, alliances fractured, and the Dupree empire itself trembled under the scandal's weight. Naomi's name, once tied to heartbreak, became synonymous with resilience and vengeance. She did not need to destroy them with her hands. She had let their own words, their own choices, tear them apart in the most merciless way possible. And so, the walls of Fairmont Crest echoed with a new legend. A woman wronged who refused to be silent, a betrayal that became a public spectacle, and a fall so complete that no one who witnessed it would ever forget. Naomi's pain had become her weapon, and her weapon had rewritten the fate of Jacob and Kat forever. This is just one arc in the storm of Beyond the Gates, a series that thrives on betrayal, revenge, and the collapse of fragile illusions. Every secret has its time, and every betrayal has its reckoning. Stay tuned, because here, nothing remains hidden for long. Remember to follow and subscribe to our channel for more shocking spoilers, deeper dives, and explosive revelations from Beyond the Gates.